Good morning, and thank you very much for this honor. We are all very pleased to be here. And I gather you're a mixed audience of different disciplines. And from our side also, I think we have a mixed audience. I'm an immunologist, started as a pathologist, but went on to immunology. And then, of course, one can't avoid molecular biology and biotechnology. Then Dr. Rajeev Kumar, we all seem to have an expertise in science plus administration and management, it looks like. So it's a very nice multidisciplinary type of committee. Dr. Rajeev Kumar is Director of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and he's been recently very much involved in policy making with the new government, and particularly non-communicable diseases around the country, and has been able to actually organize dialysis units at the district level. And this is about over 400 districts that he's managed. And Dr. Bhandari is Managing Director of Crest Biotech. And where is Dr. Bhandari? Okay, sorry. So when he comes, I'll tell you. We've got two people who are going to join us late. Dr. Surwade is there, and he's a health management consultant. And I'm very pleased that he also comes from the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, which is my alma mater also. He's been involved in public health management and very much involved in the medical aspects of managing, hospitals and designing hospitals, particularly, and communication technology. This seems to be a very pet theme of his, and he's going to tell us how telemedicine and applying information and technology will help us. And also big data analysis. All of you who are involved with IT will realize that one of our major issues at the moment currently is how do we handle the big data that is being collected by all the social media things like Facebook and Google, etc. So that's his expertise, so both medical as well as IT. Then Dr. Subhash Chand is scientist, National Institute of Biologicals, India, and he's an expertise on monoclonal antibodies. And this is an institute of our government which really evaluates also various drug combinations that come out. Dr. Bhandari is a biochemist by training. Dr. Bhandari is a biochemist by training, but also terribly involved with fungi. And he's been working on yeast for many years, and he's got various product development also as part of his thing. So I would say that he's a biochemist with fermentation technology background, particularly with reference to fungi, I think. So somewhere along the way, he was also involved with fuel, ethanol, etc. The other member is going to come a little late, and I'll introduce him when he comes in. Thank you very much. It's been, biotech has been rather exciting in recent years with, can I have the first slide? I want to just talk about, for 2 minutes, the new technology that's been impinging all aspects of our life, whether it's plants, animals, or human. And this is the gene editing technologies that, have emerged recently, especially with, next slide. Can I have the next slide? With what I'm calling CRISPR-Cas9 system. And this, as you know, is something that is across the species, so you can use the same technology in plants or animals or human. And it's got this ability to be able to remove one alphabet of your genetic sequence. And this has been so precise and so exciting in the last 4 to 5 years. It's been the technology that's going to alter our, this one? Alter all our life. And what it does basically is, I mean, the trick is that you have a sequence that you identify and then translate into RNA. So you make a template of RNA which has the same sequence as the area that you want to target in the gene. If you want to remove a gene, you can target it with the RNA, which will go and bind to the genomic DNA. Then it's linked to an endonuclease, which we are calling Cas9 at the moment, but there is a lot of search for new Cases so that it will become more and more precise. So then once, as you can see in the picture, I'm not sure I can handle this, but as you can see in the picture, the RNA guides the, it's gone somewhere. So it's really, it acts as a molecular scissors, as it shows here. So the RNA guides it to the site that you want, and then the Cas9, which is an endonuclease, which is an enzyme, will cut at that region. And so the two will get separated, and then because of the DNA repair system that's existing in the genome, they will join together without the element that you want. So if there is a single mutation type of disease, you can remove that single mutation from there. And then there are tricks to it that's going on, and that is that you try and replace the gene with a healthy gene. So if it's a disease gene, like efforts are being made for cystic fibrosis and things like that, so you remove that gene and you can replace it also using a template. And recently there's been a lot of ethics involved in this as far as the human is concerned, because people are trying to do it at an embryo level, which is still not ethically, I mean, implantation should not take place even if you're experimenting with fertilized eggs. So recently there's been a big breakthrough in the sense that you can at IVF level, when it's one cell, while injecting the sperm into the ovum, you can also inject the CRISPR-Cas9 template, and then all the cells that then divide and come up have the gene removed or the gene replaced as you want. And this has been a very exciting thing leading to a lot of ethical things. But you can see already in the future improvement in plants, in human health, etc. The other thing that I just want to mention is, can I go on to the next? Next. Yeah. The next thing that I really wanted to draw your attention to is that no longer, if we are talking about health and well-being, we can no longer talk about just human health and disease. We are looking at, and I'm very excited that this expo is all about wellness and well-being, and we need to then look at One Health. That is next. And this is the concept of One Health. We know that many of the diseases that emerge are from animals or birds. So you have a linkage of human, animal, and wildlife all linked together. Overarching it, this linkage will be the environmental changes that are occurring at the moment if we are going to have sustainability. So these are the sort of goals that we've been, UN has been discussing, and I've been pushing this One Health concept, and with looking at, so therefore, in the 2 minutes that I had, what I'm trying to tell you is technologies that can impinge across species, and also the general concept of looking at wellness as a combination of events that take place when human health, wildlife, and environment interact together. Thank you very much. I would like to now invite Dr. Rajeev Kumar to tell us a little bit about what the Government of India's policies are. And
Good morning, Professor Indira, the chair of the session. And good morning, my co-panelist here. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And good morning, the organizers here. Today, this is a very apt topic insofar as the whole wellness concept is concerned. I'm sure that a lot of us would have certainly had a glimpse of the latest health policy which the Government of India has framed recently. Now, the concept of health is going from just being disease-centric to the whole health. The concept is growing towards involving different sectors in this, rather than just looking into the concept where only the healthcare professionals are the ones who are responsible for keeping the nation healthy. Now, what we envisage is that it is not only the healthcare professionals who are responsible for keeping the nation healthy, but each one of us as an individual and as an organization or as an agent of change have some responsibility towards keeping the nation healthy. Because health is something which is at the core of us, it is something which is at the core of the fundamental right to life enshrined in our constitution also. In that light, when we talk about the healthcare, then healthcare certainly takes a wider perspective in which there are several stakeholders, including the people at large, including the agency, the private sector, the civil society organizations, the academia, the professional bodies, and community at the core of it. With that thing in view, now we have enshrined this thing in our health policy, that how we will move towards the concept of getting a healthy nation in maybe 5 to 10 years from now. Of course, when we talk about the delivery of the healthcare, then the basic core principle remains still for the public healthcare to provide the affordable, accessible, and quality healthcare to the people. So, insofar as our delivery for the healthcare is concerned, we judge normally each of our policy, each of our intervention, whether this intervention is simple enough, which can be scaled across the country, whether this intervention will promote equity, whether this intervention will, in any case, serve the person who is standing at the last leg of the line to receive the services. And in that, the technology has a very important role to play. Because technology can bring equity, as we have seen. Technology can improve the service delivery, as we have seen. Technology can bring down the cost of services, make them more affordable. And there have been more than many efforts by individuals, organizations, private organizations, civil society organizations in that line. And as a subset of that, then we come to this medical biotechnology. Medical biotechnology, as now we have a full-fledged department in the Government of India as Department of Biotechnology, considering that biotechnology has a very, very important role. And in that, medical biotechnology has a very, very important role to make the services accessible, to bring down the cost, to bring the technologies from outside to this country, as well as to provide an ecosystem in which the medical technologies, the biotechnologies, the initiatives of biotechnologies are sustained and grow, they grow in the country. And of course, all of us have seen that in the past few years there has been a lot of focus and stress upon the startups. There have been more than several initiatives, interventions and their schemes which are with an objective of promoting or providing an ecosystem in which their startups grow and they are sustained. That perhaps will be the part of the whole thing which will certainly bring about, I will say, a revolution in the field of medical biotechnology, which has a lot of scope, potential and demand in the country, and which has potential to bring down the cost of the treatment and the services in the country in future. That certainly brings about a question that, of course, when all these things are there, then what more? I think all of us know that Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, is one of the oldest scientific body in the country. It is more than 100 years old. And ICMR and Department of Biotechnology, they have signed several MOUs in regard to promoting the research of various for not only curative but also preventive aspects of various diseases. And I'm happy to note that there has been a lot of spurt in that activity in past few years. I'll just mention one that with this focus on the medical biotechnology, even in Rashtrapati Bhavan for the startups, exhibition was organized even in March this year for one day, in which lot many researchers came up with their new findings and new researches. So the government is trying to create an environment, an ecosystem in which science at the core of it, and the first to promote and sustain biotechnological, medical biotechnological researches and interventions, to be more precise, in such a manner that they become sustainable and that they have translational research components, so that research to field duration is not only reduced, but also the linkages between research to field are strengthened. All these things are there. But yes, there is a question that how the speed of translation from lab to field could be increased, as well as how the potential to have more brains, fertile brains, in the research areas of medical biotechnology can be fulfilled. That remains a question. Yes, of course. For that thing, now the government is coming up with the concepts, different concepts of incubators and support for innovators, and having more funding for the research agencies, creating institution of excellence for different medical biotechnological regimes. And I'm sure that this will pave the way for more fervent and more useful growth in this sector, which will certainly bring down the cost of services, the cost of the treatment, and will make them more affordable. It's a mixed audience, as Professor Indira Nath has said. And I'm sure that researchers nowadays in present context are always, most of the times, multidisciplinary researchers. With that, like in Delhi, as IIT Delhi and AIIMS, they have joint programs. At the same time, the AIIMS, the Government of India has come up with 6 more AIIMS and 14 more are approved, which will be coming in due course. So those AIIMS are also signing different sort of MOUs with the institutions such as IITs and IIMs to have multidisciplinary research, including the areas of medical biotechnology. So that is just, I just mentioned that is one of those efforts to have multidisciplinary research ecosystem in which the brains who are experts in one area can interact with the brains who are experts in another area, and there exists a framework for that. I'm sure that these efforts will pave the way and they show us the future in which there are more efforts towards multidisciplinary research, which will certainly improve the effectiveness of the research, which will certainly have more translational research components, which will help industry to adopt some of them, or rather many of them, for the country, because the demand for the services for the healthcare is increasing. I'm not going into details of what the government is trying to do in that area. Therefore, the future for medical biotechnology, its research in India, looks very bright. And I'm sure it will help to reduce the cost of the services, and it will increase the indigenization of the technologies, which will help the country as such. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajeev Kumar, for keeping to time also. Thank you. The speakers will talk for about 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes, and we'll have discussion at the end of the session. So can I invite Dr. Bhandari, who, as I introduced, is an expert on yeast fermentation technology.
Respected chairperson and very emeritus colleagues in the dais, and I find very learned delegates here along with the young students around here. I would like to talk as a student, okay, and the concept which I am going through is prevent microbes and germs for health living. This has been my dream for last 50 years, and I am putting through this PowerPoint presentation is in a compilation and a brief of 50 years and how we are leading to solve some of the major problems which I inherited and now carried with 50 years. With the time constraint, I have, with the Premji's advice, taken a stall, and you are most welcome to discuss further there this presentation, which I myself will be available, and we are at 7B5. Now, sir, carrying microbes and the germs all around has been my concept when I worked with Dr. Swaminathan and Dr. N. Das, associates of the Nobel laureate, and Dr. Swaminathan, name everybody, I am a student of him. 67 I did biochemistry, and I carried this vision in my mind, and I thought carrying microbes and the germs all around is a big problem. So microbes, most of the, all you know, sir, I carry microbes as a yeast, mold, fungus, and bacteria. Most of the time we talk bacteria and the fungus. We in these many years have elaborated the fungus from a taxonomy to the genetics to the application. And the fungus we consider as a mold, as a fungus, and the yeast. and very thoroughly we have examined worldwide. And this next presentation, next slide, is the compilation of that. What is the predominance of microbes in a tropical and a subtropical countries, and what is the predominance of these microbes in the temperate climate? It's a very hairline decision which I took it. And I worked on this, and now I am reaching to a hypothesis which time given in my permit life, I will able to prove it. So in the tropical climate, the predominance is the first yeast, second is the molds, third is the fungus, and the fourth is bacteria. Whereas in the temperate climate, the predominance is bacteria, fungus, mold, and yeast. As far as the yeast is concerned, is the diagonally opposite in these countries. I am leaving this message, and it's in a very solid message on which we are working. Then, obviously, countries like us, we are still carried away by these carriers are ants, mosquitoes, cockroaches, termites, and the flies. They are also carrier of these microbes, which were thoroughly examined, which results into what? The predominance of these microorganisms and insects mainly due to poor sanitation, poor hygiene, environment pollution. And this results into, in हमारे हिंदी लैंग्वेज में, बीमारी और रोग. Then, surely thanks to Mr. Prem, who happens to be my good friend, that he bought this wellness, and for me, the poor health is unwellness. Kindly carry this message. This poor sanitation, hygiene, cleanliness, environmental pollution is what we in our countries suffering to a bimari and wrong. Next. This is with the time limit, a slide of so many years compilation, and you can see is that the whole environment which has been tested is so microbially proliferated and the microbial contaminations are there. This is just to give you the picture. Then next, very commonly we visit all our healthcare centers, hospitals, nursing homes and these. And we have tried to request and go there. And we start from the doorknob to the table, to the patient's table, then the accessories what they use. And that the total microorganism analysis of these practically in our country. And this predominance chart has been prepared after these thorough microbial and biochemical analyses. So, this is the root cause which we have understood. And therefore, for the wellness of this exhibition and the wellness of this concept, we divided right from the 50 years before a preventive measure and the cure measure. So, for us, the wellness is healthcare. To us, it could be achieved by preventive sanitation, hygiene, and cleanliness. And how this could be achieved with this thorough data-based logging of so many years. What to do now to do okay, I am a poor, okay, I have a contamination, oh, okay, I have a pollution, okay, I do not wear the chappals and I carry all the yeast on my feet. How do I prevent that? This was our basic theory. And therefore, we worked out and found two products which we have now, after 10 years of a rigorous, intensive R&D and innovation, launched this product in India. And I'm happy to say so is that these products are being now also examined in America or in Japan. And these are the products you can see on our stall, which is for the awareness. This is for the mainly sanitation, hygiene, and cleanliness. We have one product which is called Crest Tip. TIP is for, T means toilets, I means insects, and P for the plants. If you spray this spray now, which has been developed on the basis of a thumb rule that I in the country as an R&D and innovative company cannot invest money and resources and the manpower to work out on a product which I can develop and use it as an FDA approved product. So we went into the reverse with the knowledgeable, intellectual knowledge available. We worked out thoroughly in America, thoroughly in Japan, thoroughly in other countries and the internet and found what could be the inhibitor of these predominant microbes, which I can straightway use in these sprays. And that is why we selected all ingredients are FDA approved, all ingredients are FDA concentration approved, and nobody logically or clinically can tell us that this is no good for you. Hopefully, we will get a patent in America. Very simple. Why should I spend millions of dollars in researching this when the knowledge is available? My center is equipped to work it out. Okay, I want to use a canazole. I can put it to several experiments and find out for my killing the yeast what concentration in my environment I need, which is already FDA approved, and the concentration is FDA approved. So these ingredients. Second theory which we have kept in my mind, okay, the color, perfumes, accessories, emollients should be herbal and should be biodegradable and eco-friendly. So there is no pesticide, no insecticide, nothing. Simple theory. It's the knowledge-based product. Then, look at these sanitation, hygiene and cleanliness products. We have chairperson and the delegates. We have thoroughly examined the microbiology of these electronic items we daily use in our systems. We take the mobile, take the swab of it, and find out what is the microflora. And I am carrying so many microorganisms with using all these things. And this slide also includes a stethoscope of a doctor, which he uses. What I am carrying on this, and I'm thorough knowledge about this and a thorough analysis of this is given to you. So, this is what the product carrying microbes and the germs, and then this prevents growth, kills germs, better living for you and a family in our environment. This is just preventive measure. Okay, next. Next is the carriers. How do you avoid the carriers? That is mosquitoes, ants, plant insects, our toilets and our coolers. You use this spray, take the swab with and without the spray. You can see the actual demonstration in stall that with and without there is no microbes. So this is the preventive product. Then now, next years, we're living in an environment where I'm carrying the diseases, which is the rogue or unwellness. How do I achieve that wellness? Which we have approached through a wellness, healthcare, and treatment and cure. How do I treat? And we are focused only on two things, and that is, most of us are aware of this problem. The heel cracking. There is so many theories and so many protocols and so many things, but we can bet it now worldwide that this is the microbial infection. And the microbial infection also because of the yeast. And until and unless we take care of that yeast, I am 100% sure my poor people, my middle class people and my rich people suffer from I go to spa. I'm sure I need an internet, a marketing agency which can take this spray to the spa and put the flag into that and come out after 15 minutes. This cure is 100% guaranteed. Yes. Next. So we developed a Yuju spray, cracked heel cure. Okay, you can understand all these things by this. Then this is the biggest problem. All our doctors sitting here and the experts. I am not a doctor, I am a biochemist, and this is the biggest problem I have faced across for the last 50 years. And this is possible to be cured. Then, this is the possibility of cure. I must say, Yuju is my grandson's name. My son's wife is a Japanese, and I travel Japan, and therefore I have used the Yuju, which is for this purpose and this thing. Then next. So these are the products, and I would like to show this slide that our company is recognized by the Government of India, DSIR. We haven't taken any grants, but we have spent 10 years on developing this product, and I am privileged. I have spent 15 crores in doing this research and work. And this is how the company has progressed from 95 to so forth. And this is my philosophy. In 1972, I went to Japan, to Copenhagen, and did my postdoctorate in this subject. And this is how that the country take care. The policemen first allow the birds to go, then the population can go. We would love to take care and preventive and cure. This is my philosophy. And then second is this. The Japanese cranes are taken like this. And this is the precision we have put into these products. And finally, Sarve bhavantu sukhanda, sarve santu niramaya, sarve prani santu. All be happy, all be free from disability, all look good for others, none suffer from sorrow. This is our philosophy on which we work as a scientist. And thank you very much. And we say Swachh Swasth Swaratra, Crest Space for Wellness. And last is this. Just 1 second. This is the logo which you carried on our sprays. Again, when I was studying in Japan, he is the world famous painter, Husaki, who has a Mount Fuji, and this is the crest. And I am carrying this logo with the precision of the cranes to be taken on the palm and the birds to be allowed, not the other. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bhandari. Fungal infection, as you know, is very threatening in those who are immunodeficient, and therefore transplantation, cancer patients and all are involved. So it's very exciting to know that Dr. Bhandari has been concentrating on this. It's my pleasure to introduce Professor Anil Wali, even though he's come late. He's a professor at IIT and heads autonomous department called the Foundation of Innovation and Technology Transfer, which IIT has promoted. And it goes with your philosophy, Dr. Rajeev Kumar, of translating and bringing out products into the country in a cheaper manner. So it's an industry interface with academy, which is also one of the policy decisions that's being promoted by the government. But it's difficult to achieve. So it's really a pleasure to have Professor Wali, and I hope he'll tell us how he's achieved this difficult interface.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much. Distinguished members on the panel, and if I can make out from a top-down view, I see the composition of the people out here reflects the demographic view of the country. Am I right? Most of you are less than, I suppose, 35, 40, right? Hi, Anna. Yes. Thank you very much. So I'm not carrying a very formal presentation here at the moment. I'm not having a PPT. Came late, and my apologies, sincere apologies to the chairman, to my co-panelists, as also to all you for arriving late here for the usual reasons. And then I have been actually thankful to the chairman for giving me this promotion of coming ahead of others, if I may. See, in the age of internet and Google being all around, I suppose you don't have to be told. Today, the people are fully aware, well aware about the challenges we all face. So I don't have to actually dwell upon that. But it's important, you as the young people who are still uncorrupted by the legacies, by our experiences, you are at a stage where you can think afresh. You need not follow what we've been following, what we've been doing. You are at liberty, very free to pursue careers of your choice, pursuits which certainly are of your interest as also of great use to the country. Now, there's a reason why I am saying all that. Now, even though the theme of the session is on healthcare, the advances, the future, believe me, had this session been held maybe 20 years ago, I think the session theme would have been the same and we would have perhaps been talking about the same. Because whether it's good health or wellness, that's an absolute necessity for humanity. I don't think there can be any scope for disagreement on that. But the issue is how to achieve that utopian dream of having the best health, the best wellness for each and every one of us. Now, ma'am, the chairperson is very right when she says that actually I'm doing a difficult job because working at the interface of business, which Dr. Bhandari referred to, and research, which many of you and Dr. Sahab, you are there. It's working at the interface is extremely difficult because now the value system, the wavelengths of the two stakeholders are normally at variance with each other and try to bring them onto a single platform and try to derive and capture value, which each one of them is actually creating, is actually a tough job. Had it been an easy job, there would have been many such platforms in the country. Even though we, from a policy perspective, have been talking about strengthening this particular platform. And this is where you all, as also the policy makers for that matter, are extremely important and their roles become extremely important. So I'm cognizant of this fact that I'm working currently at academia, even though I have some 2 decades of industry experience. So I'll just keep that industry experience aside and talk from the platform of academia. So how many of you, let me ask you a question, are still working in universities or studying in the universities or colleges? Can you please raise your hands? Oh, that's a big number. So huge number, ma'am. Okay. So how many of you want to be hardcore scientists or engineers? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, don't be shy of that. Oh, maybe a dozen. And how many of you, even though you are pursuing engineering and sciences, don't want to be a scientist or maybe become an entrepreneur or an innovator? Very few. बाकियों का क्या होगा? Government jobs. Sorry. See, some of the most outstanding innovations in the world have happened from academia. I don't know how many of you are aware of that. I don't want to start out the statistics out here because of time limitation to tell you how great innovations, ideas actually came from academia, straight from academia, be it in the area of vaccines, antiretrovirals, and some of the present day devices. Medical devices have a very strong linkage with academia. Globally, I'm not just talking about India, globally. But very few people recognize that. For instance, just to give you one example, when you talk of insulin, synthetic insulin, do you know where it came from? Who started it all? Any idea? A company called Genentech. And who was behind Genentech? A scientist, Professor Herbert C. Boyle and Cohen from Stanford. And of course, a VC, a venture capital or investor called Robert Swanson, the kind you don't have in these days. But nonetheless, to cut the long story short, well, this team laid the foundation of modern day biotechnology. And some years ago, Genentech was acquired by a large pharma major called Roche at a multi-billion valuation. And they say whether scientists or academics can actually start enterprises. The question is, they can start enterprises and very big at that, and backed fully with innovations. So here is my point, ladies and gentlemen, that while you may pursue any option, any career choice, try to be innovators. Look around, you will see challenges all across, be it in the domain of healthcare, wellness, or in any other field. You don't actually have to look to some Pandit and ask him ki kya karna chahiye. No, just look around. You will see issues, you will see challenges. You see what happened unfortunately in Gorakhpur, and I'm sure many of these challenges can be easily addressed. It could be issue of management, it could be issue of better therapeutics, it could be better of data, it could be just about issues which are actually in our control. But whether we are doing it or not is a moot point. So my point is, try to identify issues, try to identify challenges, form teams, and you will be in a position to drive solutions, develop solutions for that, because when it comes to innovations, innovations can best be created by people who have the skill set necessary. Now, I'm not living in the world of Thomas Alva Edison, who actually did not have much of formal education, and quite a few of them are actually dropouts, the Facebooks and all those. I will not refer to all of these great names. But then that doesn't mean that you have to be like them. You have a skill set, you acquire a skill set, you are better equipped today to identify challenges, identify problems, and then work towards creating solution to address those needs. So this is the limited point I'm trying to make, that no matter what passion you have, okay, what career choice you have, but try to be an innovator at hand. And aside of innovator, you or your friends, if they happen to decide to become an entrepreneur, that would be a great thing, because an entrepreneur is the one who takes many of these ideas forward and ensures that these ideas are properly delivered in the marketplace. They are not lost out. So therefore, innovation plus entrepreneurship, or techno-entrepreneurship in short, can be a great enabler of new present day solutions to many of the challenges that we are facing, be it in the area of healthcare, wellness, or transportation. You just name it, it's there. And we are working on that. Just to draw your attention to an area which is totally distinct from, let's say, healthcare and wellness. For example, transportation systems. You are familiar with the Tesla cars. Now, how many of you are familiar with the diametrically, or the new paradigm of the same guys, or Hyperloop technologies, for example. I'm sure some of you might have read it. So much of the information, much of the developments that are happening are available to you. The issue is, are we ready to develop our solutions, no matter how small a solution it be, for addressing these? And you're not alone in all that. See, today the ecosystem is such, whether it is the government or it's many of its subsidiary bodies, who are actually creating many support structures which are actually helpful to many of the innovators or potential innovators to actually get that kind of financial liberty to work on newer and newer solutions. So I don't want to actually go into the very many schemes. There are so many of them, you can really check up, but you can always call back on get in touch with me, and I'll actually be more than happy to let you know that all schemes are available with the government. Now, coming to some of the support structures which are existing in the ecosystem, I would like to, let's say, bring to your attention the role which technology business incubators are playing. Now, many of these technology business incubators are based off the academia. How many of you are familiar with TBIs, technology business incubators? No. So I think I need a separate session to tell you that. But anyway, these are support structures established by generally with the support of the government, by many academic institutions. Now, this provides a platform to all young people like you, the scientists, the faculty, to try their ideas out and see whether they can develop a proof of concept, and then through a process of validation, market research, etc., whether they can actually develop a business out of that. Because we believe no matter which solution you do, and what is an entrepreneur supposed to do? The entrepreneur is supposed to ensure that whatever innovation, whatever idea he takes it, now whether that has a robust business model around it which can actually help sustain the subsequent business, or the business which is created out of these ideas. As I said, there are very many examples which I would have liked to share with you, to perhaps excite you to the possibilities which all youngsters like you can do. Because today, I don't know, let me just give you an example. Many of the students of IIT Delhi have been able to create a lot of unicorns, that is companies which have a valuation of more than $1 billion. So we have Flipkarts, the Snapdeals, a lot of them. But today we are trying to create technology unicorns. So this is where we are trying to help youngsters like you. So please take advantage of the very many support structures which are available with the government. Identify the need first and foremost. Identify the need, and you don't have to ask anybody. Just look around. You will see challenges all across. Pick up one, form a team, and address it. And once you are addressed at creating a solution, I'm sure you or the entrepreneurs will take it forward, and you will have nobody else but yourself to blame if you do not seize upon that particular opportunity. So please, the world is open before you. The government is there to support you. All the systems, ecosystems have matured to be able to help you out and realize your dreams. Thank you very much.
Stage, the challenge has gone to the audience, and it's meant for the innovation is now in your court. And I think India is improving with venture capital, and we have better policies coming from people like Rajeev pushing it at the government level. It's my pleasure to now invite Dr. Surwade, who's a health management consultant. It's also a double pleasure because he comes from my alma mater. So it comes from All India Institute of Medical Sciences. And as I said, he's a telemedicine and IT communications and health systems.
Good morning. I'm here to speak on the future of healthcare. Essentially, it's in the context of wellness, how technological developments are going to impact in the evolution of the healthcare delivery systems, and how they are going to be transformed into a different shapes and modalities. The technological development is going to be so fast, and it's, as you must have witnessed, it's taking so rapidly that it's literally disruptive. And very soon, you'll see healthcare delivery systems much different than what they are now. Hospitals won't look like the way they are. The doctors or physicians will have a very minimum role where instead of them, some machines would be probably treating you. You would be probably using the technology to monitor your own health status, take a corrective action on the basis of the instructions that are beamed on you and your mobile phone through a server that is based in the cloud. Or you could be just walking into a kiosk to heal yourself. Despite all this disruption, all these future health systems would be working with one purpose. That is this, to bring the wellness to you. And I think this particular exhibition conference is right on the theme or on the where the directions are going to be provided to. When we talk about wellness, we will talk about it in the entire spectrum of the wellness, in all those 8 dimensions, including the emotional and financial or environmental, what the One Health concept that Madam talked about, as well as the now limiting to physical or social or spiritual. At the moment, despite all our economic growth, that is, we talking about India, despite its economic strides, India ranks amongst the lowest on the health and wellness indices. It's a matter of shame that we are 143rd on the Sustainable Development Goals that has been set by the UN for the whole globe. And as far as health and wellness indices are concerned, we are 120th out of 133 countries, much below even Nepal and Bangladesh, when the health and wellness status of this country stands. Now, how do you really transform this to a desired wellness status? We are the country where we are given the biggest concept of wellness. In such a case, if that is going to be the future, how are we going to really cover this gap, huge gap, or elevate ourselves from this dismal status to something respectable. In next 3 to 5 minutes, I shall be dwelling upon a few of the milestones or where the road to this transformational journey is going to be. Key issues have been highlighted many times, but one thing that I would like to mention here is that related to health expenditure, because health is ultimate, or wellness too would be a purchasable commodity, and much of the role that in the curative healthcare is being done at the moment from the private sector. Again, the money coming out of the private pockets of the people, while those of the preventive care is much it's coming from the public sector. In such a scenario, we got to look at the public expenditure on health, but the situation is going to be so rapidly changing, and the shift from the curative care to wellness is happening so rapidly, and the technology is facilitating it so much that you'll find the patient or you being at the center stage. And that's the very, very positive side of the whole development. In just coming few years, even an ordinary citizen will be so much empowered to take care or look into his or her health and dictate the terms as to how the system should respond, what policies the government should make, that will be driven by the patient or the ordinary citizen. This entire process of empowerment is at the center of the technological development that's going to lead to that. Let's say look at this, how this transformation is going to take place. What is the emerging scenario like? If you see Dr. Rajeev is here, the non-communicable diseases are going to dominate. And most of them will be related to the lifestyle too. In such a situation, essentially we'll be addressing the issue of the freedom that you enjoy in bringing about the inequality amongst the people in terms of their access to the healthcare, in terms of their ability to spend for the healthcare or purchase the health, or even to reach out and be available for or engage themselves into the wellness. The only way out is to innovate and think out of the box. Because if you do that, try to address the situation in a conventional manner, we are likely to be, again, just the bystander where the technological revolution is going to just bypass you. However, that's not likely to happen, and we need the hope that we have is how we can leverage the power of information and communication technology. In India, the internet users, the percentage on absolute numbers is growing so rapidly that by 2021 we'll have more than 63 crores people using the internet. If you see that we are at the point of in a growth inflection starting from 2014, where the internet user penetration is going to be, and next to only USA and China, India is going to catch up. In such a case, if you have the mobile and internet, because these will be the devices which will be your hospital, be your physician on your fingertip. In such a case, how far we are reaching out is an important thing to see. And that's what moving towards the universalization of the wellness. Those who are at the remotest corner of this country will have equal access to the best quality service. And if that service quality is not so good, it can always be improved by him and directed by her. Those who will be using the internet through their mobile devices or handheld devices, that proportion is also going to rapidly rise. In such a case, do we really think that information and communication technology is going to impact on the health? It has already proven that it will act as a force multiplier, where we have the key issues in the health sector, in the ministries, or say in the state health systems, or that shortage of the manpower or technically super qualified skills, or the access to the healthcare or the cost of the health. And however, whatever you could talk about, it enables, not only enables, but ensures that it's going to be affordable. It also going to provide the continuum of the care, because no treatment dropouts like in tuberculosis cases, or no home-based care is going to be separated out from the institutional care or post follow-up of the hospital. A person comes in, walks into the hospital already appointed and pre-appointed. But then in such a kind of case, if institutional care is going to be intermediate station for a person who is on the spectrum of that sickness, then how that hospital or institution will look like. Okay. This is something like in a hospital of the future, right? This will be quite technology enabled, or there will be no waiting time. You could book yourself, consult the doctor from the comfort of your home, and move in. Mostly your surgery will be conducted by the surgical robots. It's not something like a fantasy. It's going to happen in next 5 to 7 years. It's already happening. In fact, I would like to share with you one of the initiatives that I have started, and we are going to set up Asia's first virtual hospital in Delhi by early next year. The thing is that the technology compacted and made into usable devices, or called the wearable devices. Now they are even ingestible, that you wear a pendant or a wristband, and all your conditions are monitored very well. The data that will be generated would be so huge that we have now the tools and technology which would analyze this and give you absolute predictions how the person will behave, or how the country will behave, how a particular region will behave, how the disease will behave. And you will have a correct, appropriate, most efficient and most effective control measures. This kind of thing will be in a person in the highly interconnected. A small use like this will be the remote hospital, like a small chair, dismantleable, easily kept, and anything customized to your needs or whatever disease conditions or health issues that you want to address to, and could be. This is the overall schema of the things of the virtual hospital that we are going to set up in Delhi, Humatrix Virtual Hospital. Well, I need not elaborate much on the strategies for the future, because the technology developments, though they are predictable, it's the rate at which they are going to spread, or the interconnectivity and the interdependency we'll have to wait for the time to see. However, the Internet of the Things, or Internet of Everything, is going to take over the health sector like never before, and is likely to stay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Last but not the least is Dr. Subhash Chand, who's a scientist from the National Institute of Biologicals. This is an institute that was initially empowered to look at the quality of biological products that come to our country, and any that are. Thank you very much, Subhash. His expertise, as I told you in the morning, is on monoclonal antibodies. And thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Respected chair and dignitaries on the dais, and my dear friends. So my talk will be on trend and technologies in developing and delivering the ways to detect, treat and cure the diseases. So my focus will be on all those areas for detection, treatment and of therapeutic products which are there in India, or innovations which have been happened in the past, and technologies which are there in the pipelines in India. So the focus will be the preventions of the disease, which is basically by the vaccinations and then diagnosis, and then the therapeutic products which are in the market. And I just briefly highlight about the gaps which are there in the innovations and biomedical research in India. So as this is a healthcare industry, briefly, this is being strong growth in the healthcare industry seen in last 10 years, 8 to 10 years, as during 2008 to 20, the market is expected to record at a CGR of 16.5%, and total industry size is US dollars 160 million by the end of 2017, and expected to rise to US dollar 280 million by the end of 2020. And as per the Ministry of Health records, there are 50 technologies which has already been targeted in 2016 for the treatment like the diseases of cancer and TB. So coming to the vaccine market, there is a huge market of vaccines globally and in India also. And globally it is US dollar 24 billion and projected to rise to US dollar 100 billion by 2025. India is currently having a market of US dollar 1 billion and growing at a CAGR of 25%, which is fulfilling around 60% of demand of the UNICEF. And there are a lot of innovations which have been already happened in the past, like this oral polio vaccines have eradicated polio from India, and rota vaccines is already available at a very low price of US dollar 1 to all over the world. And these are the vaccines which are already marketed in the different part of the world, and some are there in the pipelines. So this is the basic advancement and innovations which had happened in the past with respect to the vaccines. So there are 12 major vaccine manufacturers which are marketing their products all around to 150 countries in the world, and there 8 out of the 12 these vaccine manufacturers are WHO pre-qualified, and currently 16 vaccine which have been WHO pre-qualified, which is amounting to 80 to 60% of demand of UNICEF. So a big achievement from India is every third child in the world being immunized by the measles vaccine made in India. So these are the vaccine manufacturers, major leaders in the vaccine manufacturing. Coming to the diagnostic market, these are the areas where India is leading, and global in vitro diagnostic market is around 60.2 US dollar billion in 2016, and expected to rise at a CGR of 5.5% during 16 to 21, and reach around US dollar 78.74 billion by 2021. And Department of Biotechnology is doing a great job by funding these small enterprises and the startups, and there have been a wide range of products which you can see in the diagnostic market, which has been there in the market now. The best example is AINA, which is basically to detect the blood glucose, hemoglobin, lipid, creatine in blood sample. And coming to the therapeutic, there is an increase in the use of biologics in comparison to the small molecules, and there is a shift, huge shift, almost double that of the small molecules from 2016 to 2014 onward. So yes, as in the graph you can see, there is an increase from sales of these products from 165 billion USD to almost 246 billion USD in biologics. Then coming to the biosimilars, innovator and biosimilars. So as you all know, that biosimilars are the copy of the innovator molecules which have been produced by the different company. So there is an increase in the uptake of biosimilars in India as well as in the globe. So as you can see from the bars, there is a huge increase from 18% to 47% in the uptake of biosimilars. This is because of the affordable cost of these biosimilars in comparison to the innovator molecule. And the global biosimilar market is expected to rise to almost $10.9 billion USD in 2021, going at a CAGR of 26.3%. In India, the industry is around 850 billion presently and going at a CAGR of 25%. So these are the top 10 biotech products which are there in the market, mostly anti-cancer drugs. So led by the adalimumab, which is basically for anti-TNF-alpha based therapies. And these are the major manufacturers of these products which are there in the market. Then coming to the global advanced innovations happened in these biosimilars or biotherapeutics. So there are around more than 50 biosimilars which has been approved in India, and in comparison to the Europe where 37 is presently being approved, and in US only 5 are approved presently. So there have been innovations with respect to the biosimilars, like recently trastuzumab, which is basically for the HER2 positive breast cancer, being approved in the US FDA, which is produced with joint collaboration with the Mylan and the Biocon. And coming to the challenges, as you all know, this biosimilars or the MABs and all these ADCs are being complex in nature, so they cannot be treated the same as that of the small molecules. So they require detailed characterizations, and in that we need a skilled and trained manpowers, like all the speakers already mentioned. Like there has been initiative taken by Department of Biotechnology and Ministry of Health, Government of India, with respect to the Startup India initiative and skill development. So all those areas has been taken care well by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And there are still gap for the guidelines with respect to the written standards, if we say for pharmacopoeia monographs, then the physical reference standards for characterization of these products, which is a major gap at present we are facing. And then cost of characterization of these products, which are presently a big problem for the startups and the small enterprises, is again very high. So I just briefly touch upon the basic characterizations which are being outsourced by the small enterprises or the startups in India, which is costing around 62 lakhs to 65 lakhs for a single batch, and for the commercialization of a products you need at least characterization of at least 10 batches before coming to the market. Then coming to the how we are bridging the gap for innovations and this startup Indias, to support the startup Indias from taking the lab innovations to the market. So we need to have these are bio-incubators already mentioned with the different speakers. They have been already in different parts of India. If we take example of for biosimilars, we are having CCAP and Baclor also, who is doing great job under the guidance of Department of Biotechnology. And then there has been gap which has been addressed by CDSU and their collaboration with the Department of Biotechnologies and Nation of Biologicals for developing specific product-specific guidelines like monographs and developing the reference standards for them. And the role of NIB in bridging this gap. So as we already have this state-of-art laboratory and animal facility, so we are conducting regular training programs for the manufacturers, academia, and the regulators. So in these areas of regulation of biologics. So presently there is a collaboration with the ICMR to support manufacturers or small enterprises which are dealing in glucometers or blood glucose strips to validate their kits as per ISO 197 to make them at the global standards. And there has been 46 monographs have been published in IP 2014, and 19 are being under communication with the IPC to be published in IP 18, which has been contributed by NIB. And there has been huge laboratory quality management system programs being organized by NIB in the area of biotherapeutics, vaccines, and diagnostics. And there is a number around 1,032 different regulators or the CPSC officials or blood bank officials or the PG students are being trained at NIB from the past, in 2016, and there is a huge shift in that, to facilitate this Skill India program to train the different, stakeholders in these areas. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chand. Do we have time for a few questions? So the panel would be very happy to receive questions from you or discussion points. Anyone has questions?
I am Ajay Singh.
About, yes.
Hello, I am Ajay Singh. I want to ask what are the steps involved in the
Sorry,
health sector?
Would you introduce yourself?
I am Ajay Singh from Delhi.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, I want to ask what are the steps are involved through the government for taking up the alternative therapy in the health sector in collaboration with the hospitals.
You want to answer that?
I don't follow, just can you repeat your question?
I want to ask what are the steps taken by the government to introduce alternative therapies in the hospitals, government hospitals.
Which type?
Alternative therapies.
Alternative introduce.
Yeah.
To introduce alternative therapy.
Not introducing but implementing and giving healthcare system through that channel.
Yeah. Alternative therapies, you certainly must have known there's a separate department now with the Government of India that's called AIIMS. And AIIMS has included Siddha and one therapy in Ladakh also quite recently in its foray now. So there is a national AIIMS mission, particularly to promote, you can say, the traditional therapies, not we can say the alternative, but the traditional therapies which are in the country, found in the country, through different means, which includes Ayurveda, Yoga, Siddha, Unani, homeopathy, such therapies to promote them. In addition to that, now we have some national programs under National Health Mission. Under National Health Mission also, now we have program to co-locate the AIIMS, you can say AIIMS therapy providers along with the modern medicine providers. So there has been a lot of push now, and even the funding for the program National AIIMS Mission has been substantially increased in past 2 years to increase not only the adoption amongst the hospitals but also for the promotion, research and other activities.
Hello everyone. My name is Kamal and I'm a CA and MBA. I lived in USA for the last 10 years. I was working there. So I did see a lot of technological advancements in the health sector, like Mr. Surwade was explaining. So I did see some of that thing happening, and the rest of it is still in progress. So my question for you is, like, how comfortable are you, and how do you feel that the gadgets we have in place today, like the different health monitoring devices which can be worn on a daily basis, like the iWatch or the Fitbits, how much reliable they are? We did a comparative study in our MBA program, and we found that they are still not up to the mark. Like not even the basic, the heartbeat monitoring rate was not even accurate, and it was way off by 20 to 30%. Thank you.
I think your question is very relevant because when we talked about so much of a bright future and so much happening, where are we? The thing is that you can say telemedicine is still in infancy. Most of the hospitals are not IT enabled or electronic health records. But what is developing? I mean, so far we have successful examples of telemedicine networks or systems working for a, say, unitary purpose or multi-purpose in 3 states. Most of them have come from our initiative, and over the last 12 years we have studied, and you can say that the major findings is that even at the remote rural illiterate persons, the acceptance of the virtual image and teleconsultation is very much acceptable. It's happening. The clarity and the images and all that, there are definitely a quantum jump in that now. We don't need that kind of ISDN band connectivity. Through internet we have been able to conduct. As regards the devices, they come from all over the world. Mostly from Israel, Germany, Japan. In India, very few, but then most of it is sensor-based technology. Like we have tried those which are diabetic monitoring, like blood sugar monitoring, blood pressure. Cardiac things is very wonderfully working. we have a pendant on, as well as the ECG monitor. It's just wearable. It senses the things and gets those signals are captured in our cloud-based server, analyzed, and you get a report on your mobile, right? With a complete graphics which are quite absolutely comparable with your direct physical ECG. And more value addition is that it gives you a complete record for over the chronological thing, like last 3 months, how it's been, your blood sugar, how it's been behaving whole day, because it's a continuous transmission of the signals, right? And that's the way it's in a very dynamic situation. Of course, the volume of the data will be too high, but at the moment, yes, it is still on a piloting stage, you can say. We tried this, that the kiosk that I showed you, that medical chair, it can be customized with the kind of you want. Like so far, we have the body temperature, heartbeat, ECG, blood pressure, weight, other things. Weight and all the things are very much, your BMI. So the moment you sit on the chair, it scans you and analyzes everything and gives you a report. Okay, periodically you can monitor the progress. It has a program which can continue. The virtual hospitals enables you to get into it and have an authentic, reliable information which is educative for taking care of your condition, right? That's how you are helped. The best way I personally believe is that you yourself need to take care of your health and well-being, and entire system, machines and other. The one quantum progress that we have made is in the artificial intelligence. Now this data coming in over and over again, the responses that is to go, we found that many of them can be generalized and derived, and then with the machine learning we can easily make out that most of these conditions can be responded to by the machine itself. The way that now your railway ticketing is being done, we use the same CRM platform, and we adapted it to the health situation and found that many of your conditions like blood pressures, diet, weight management, your heart condition, follow-up of the post-operative cardiac surgery, or for that matter even small conditions like dengue fever or joint pains, everything could be, the machine answers it. It recognizes your voice and it responds that way. So the thing is that once you go, and this is now tested very well. We piloted in Madhya Pradesh, we piloted in Mumbai, we piloted in the northeastern states of even Tripura and Mizoram. We have done it in Tamil Nadu and eastern coast of Pondicherry, Kerala. These are the results available on the internet. If you search, that will be far more. If you want any further that's. But this is the stage from where we are sure it will take off. And once this virtual hospital is being set up in February next year, that will bring in lots of things together. Okay.
Thank you. With the permission of the chair, may I request the youngsters, the college students, to please encourage them to ask the question. Yeah, please.
Good morning, everyone. Being a student, I want to know if we want to be an entrepreneurship, so what are the policies that government provides so that we can be a upcoming future entrepreneur?
I think Rajeev.
There are many, I will say this, and there is a small tool called Google nowadays which answers many of the queries. If I start elaborating now, there would be, I would need a session perhaps to, but in past 2 years, different departments now, including the Department of Skill Development, if you go to their website, you'll find Department of Biotechnology, because I'm trying to relate to the department which may be particularly of your interest, maybe. And then Department of Human Resource Development, they have a scheme called Imprint also now. And then ICMR's website. So if you search all these, you'll find several initiatives that the government has taken. And even if you go to President House website, you'll find one. So, but yes, entrepreneurship is basically development of something, some concept. That the first you have to find out, before finding what the government can do, you have to find out which problem you really want to solve. You search for that problem first, that the problem which you really want to solve. Try to think about the solution, of course. And then you will find several places where once you design a solution to the problem which you really want to solve, then you will find, I think, several institutions, you will find several organizations, and you will find a way, I'm sure. I'm sure you will find a way. The thing is, don't think of who can support you first. Think first that what is the problem and what you want to solve. If it is really a problem which you want to solve, and if it is a problem whether it can be solved or not. If it can be solved, then what is the solution? Think first, the first thing is inside yourself. If once you do that, and then any innovation, any research, any entrepreneurship nowadays is not individualistic. It is, you need a team for that. And the second step is perhaps to find your colleagues, your friends, who could be working with you in that endeavor. And then you will find institutions to support that, I'm sure.
May I, if I may just add on to what Mr. Rajeev said. See, simply go to the nearest technology business incubator to them. They are the people who will mentor you, whether what your ideas are correct, whether you should embark on an entrepreneurial journey or not. But suffice it to say that the ecosystem today provides a lot of supports.
Also, I think the environment is very good for venture capital. You don't have to go only to the government anymore, which was not there in my time, I would say. Right. Any other questions? Yes. Please introduce yourself.
Good morning, all of you. Myself, Dr. F.K. Pandey. I am from IITS College of Biotechnology. And my question is from Dr. Rajeev Kumar. Sir, we are talking about the Wellness India. Okay. When we stop our car at red light, we can feel that what is happening. Small, poor children, they are coming, begging, living in unhealthy conditions. So what initiatives government is taking to reach or to take the wellness to those sector of the society? And if initiatives are being taken, then why not the results are coming?
Yeah, I'm sure your concern is well placed actually. The first thing I think that what you will certainly realize that insofar as health is concerned, health is for the individual as well as for the society. So the effort for the good health care, they have to come from everybody. If you don't, for example, if I take a clue from the talk of Dr. Bhandari, when he was talking about that what could constitute a good health platform, such as sanitation, right, such as cleanliness, hygiene. And more than so, the thing is that to build the capacity among individuals, among institutions, among society, so that first of all, the environment in which a healthy living can be fostered is created. For that matter, that in the new health policy also, we have taken up this thing that now, from now onwards, we'll be taking the whole of the government and the whole of the society approach for providing health care. And for that, of course, not only that the Ministry of Health or the Government of India or maybe the state government, but different departments of the government, there are, for example, if we talk about the Ujjwala scheme, for example. So Ujjwala is not a scheme of Government of India. It's a scheme of, it's not a scheme for Department of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. It's a scheme of Department of Petroleum of the Government of India. But the real benefit would be the health of the person who is going to use LPG in place of the solid fuel. The solid fuel, which certainly was a cause of dreaded chronic respiratory diseases, certainly. This was one of the intervention. Then when we talk about the, like, for example, water, drinking water and sanitation. So when the state governments, municipalities, central government assistances, and all such, and society by itself, when we provide safe drinking water to the people, or that people have their safe and healthy drinking water, it will certainly impact the healthcare also. So the thing is that, of course, and as I mentioned in my talk also, that when we talk about interventions, we have a criteria whether that intervention is going to promote equity, whether that intervention is going to help the person who is standing at the last leg of the line. So, insofar as public interventions or public healthcare interventions concerned, we judge them on these criteria, so that we are able to reach out to more and more people. We improve the access of our interventions. We increase the affordability of those interventions, at the same time taking care of the quality.
I think I have to close down. Okay, last question. Yeah. 2 minutes.
My name is Dr. Venkateshwara. I am from Bangalore, Kumar Organics and Biotech Group. My question is to Dr. Subhash Chand regarding, you explained about innovations versus biosimilars, especially current year growth factor also explained. So I would like to know exactly what percentage of HIV, like retroviral biosimilars, from to innovations to biosimilars, what is the exact percentage of retroviral drugs are in that criteria?
Mostly like this biosimilar, if you see from India, are there in the anti-cancer. Antiretroviral, if you see, are in the generics. So for that, I think it's around 30 to 40% in comparison to the biosimilar of anti-cancer, which are almost 50% have taken the market in comparison to innovators.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm going to close the session now, and if you have any questions, I'm sure the panel members can discuss with you informally. Thank you very much, and on your behalf and on our behalf, I'd like to thank Mr. Prem Behel for providing this platform for discussion on wellness. Thank you very much.
We would like to thank all the eminent panelists for their contribution to Wellness India Conference. I now request Dr. Indira Nath to please present a token of appreciation to all our panelists. Dr. Rajeev Kumar. Dr. H.C. Bhandari. Professor Dr. Anil Wali. Dr. M.R. Surwade. Dr. Subhash Chand. And here's a token of appreciation for our session chair, Dr. Indira Nath. Ladies and gentlemen, we now break for tea.